Oh, they did. Okay, they poured the foundation. Well, they got that one high off the ground. They are keeping it clean, but like I said, I was wondering why they don't have it fenced off. I should call in that one because it's got the old pole. Maybe to replace it with a breakaway pole. Oh, they put fake stone on the outside. I'm trying to look at the house, and one time a jackass comes driving down the street. Was there a dog here before? Dry as a bone. Stagnant. You know, I always tell the guys who used to be wrestlers and boxers, it's that old technique for trying to shed weight before a fight. And all you're doing is shedding the water weight before the weigh-in. You know what I said? Boxers and wrestlers, powerlifters used to do it too. I know these guys that they would take, like, they would have necklaces on and they would take the necklace off because they weren't trying so desperately to make weight. They'd go and they'd run around the gym for for like 10 minutes, come back, get on the scale. And sometimes it worried. The guy was like half a pound over. And you go out there and run a little bit, come back, get on the scale, and they say, okay, you're in you can stay in that weight class. My fat ass, I didn't care. Sometimes I'd be sitting there, I was in the 236 weight class, and somehow I ate my way out of it. Next thing you know, I was in super heavyweight. It wasn't a big deal to me because sometimes you get into super heavyweight and those guys were worse than the guys who were in like the 198 class. But pretty much I'd lift just about anybody at a certain point, but man, I met my match when When them dudes from Paris, Texas showed up, I was like, good Lord. Never forget it, man. Chris Akins and Larry King. These dudes, they were 6'5", easily 300, 350 pounds. And they were lifting stuff like record weight, like it was warm-up weight. Akins came in there and he did put 450 pounds on the bench. Went down with it, paused for a second, came back up, racked it. And I was like, Jesus, man. 750 on the squat, 750 on the deadlift. On the foundation. You get these things up here quick. Feels like my street. We got three. They went up there and they threw 3 big McMansions up there like it was nothing. No, I take that back. 2 of them they threw up there real quick. One of them, the guy, was a brother-in-law situation, taking his sweet time and not doing it right. I'm not saying Russian is doing it right, but I'm saying somehow he was doing it slow and still doing it wrong. And they did such a bad job that they were presenting the house, and I guess somebody saw something they didn't like, and so they had to go back there and redo a lot of stuff. Kept failing inspections. Somebody's gonna be living next to me in something like that. If I see people while they're presenting the house, I'll warn them. I was like, hey, they cut every corner they could on that one, so you might want to watch out. This jackass here. Yeah, you better slow your ass down. It's alright, they're gonna find you wrapped around something eventually. Looking stupid like, oh, I didn't think it was ever gonna happen to me. No, it'll happen to you. Anyway, went to a powerlifting meet. Saw Chris Akins and Larry King, and Larry King couldn't do as much as Chris Akins, but he could still do more than just about anyone. Larry King he is 350 on the bench, 650 on the squat, and 350 and 650 on the deadlift. Again, didn't look like he was struggling. And I said, where the hell is Paris, Texas, and how come I don't hear more about them in high school football? I hear about it was the Stephenville Farmers, and who was the other one? Odessa Permian. Schools that had these little bitty 160, 180 pound white farming kids. I think they were farming kids, they might have been rich. Every year they'd win it with these little bitty guys. Chris Akins went on to the NFL, played for the Eagles for about a year, didn't quite make the cut. It's one of those things that just because somebody can lift a lot of weight and they look strong, don't mean they can play football. Well, there's a lot of jackassery afoot. Oh, I'm going to be paying for this later. Hey! Walmart in one part, Amazon in another, UPS and USPS. Trying to copy UPS where the guy runs up to the door, puts the package down, runs back. I don't know why he took that panel off the side. Now, if the apple's working and I had time, I could put a ticket together in like 5 minutes. Not this leaning stop sign. Instead, it'll just have to wait when I take my next break. I'm looking kind of rough over here. The gas can's out there, so I'm hopeful. All right. Oh. something happened over here where they got signs that say no trespassing and hey, you're on camera, and I was like, man, I don't know what that was all about. There is nothing here. And something about except the barrel of my gun or something like that. I don't know. You got Dirty Harry over there. Temporary plates. Fake temporary plates. That's starting to be a thing now. So yeah, they got the flock system, and started reading up a little bit more about it, basically from the ACLU website, and they're like, it could be a useful tool, but in the hands of the government, it's one of those things where it's a private company scanning plates, keeping a database. We don't know who has access to that database. The government has handed it off to this company to do this. The government, we don't know if the government is holding them accountable for what information they store. And the ACLU is basically saying you know, we understand they can help in aiding in Amber Alerts and thefts and things like that, and they're okay with a system that grabs it, law enforcement gets what they need off of it, and then discards the data. They don't store the data. They don't leave it in a giant database somewhere, data center somewhere, to where private companies are sitting there picking through it, and they see, oh, such and such in this truck that has, you know, that has tire problems. This is his license plate. Let's try marketing something to him. Or using the system to tell the private companies that they try to harass people for other things. We saw you leaving the abortion clinic. That was your license plate on the flock system. You don't normally go that way. Suddenly something that seemed like it was a useful tool for law enforcement seems like a draconian system for keeping authoritarian states in power, or allows them to terrorize their citizens. So sometimes the ACLU does stuff, and I just like, I groan, and I was like, but I want this. And then I was like, oh wait, yeah, I see what you're saying there. They're doing everything in their power to make sure that we don't have a surveillance state. I'd stop coming down Larga, but that defeats the whole purpose. Oh yeah, I was going to get footage of the stripe here. So the way it's supposed to, the way they were telling it to me was, on On the ticket, they said, Mr. Young, every 4 years, every 3 years, every 3 years in the budget, we repaint the lines, and if it's not a grade B, if it's grade B or below on roadway reflectivity, then we have to do it sooner. So I went up there and I'm looking up national, federal, the Federal Travel and Safety Administration, or what do they call that? Federal Highway and Transportation Safety Administration. So I'm trying to find out, how do you determine what's grade B? And looking for a video that gives me, this is what it looks like. They don't do that. So what it was unfortunately, I went on YouTube and there's a bunch of people trying to sell these basically drones with cameras and infrared things attached, all these doodads and gadgets, and it rolls down the street and it's got a reflectometer in it, and it goes, okay, spits out a number and says, okay, this one needs to be replaced, or this one doesn't meet up to the standards. But I was like, you know what, you can waste all your money on that, and I get that you've got thousands of miles of road, but just a cursory glance, if I'm sitting here walking around during the day and I look over and I can't see the fucking stripe, that means you got to repaint the fucking stripe. That's my reflectometer. I'm out there at night and I can't see it, and I'm over here taking day footage and I can't see it during the day. A lot of assholes out here today. But hey, there's a lot of assholes out here every day. Some of the people I talked to, I said, hey, did you try walking around there and seeing this? Like, no, I drove through there. And I was like, it's not the same, is it? Like, we have programmed people in this city to have an aversion to just getting out of the thing and walking around a little bit. Foot and ass. Wow. That's one way to do it. And we do have elderly in this neighborhood.